So because it started on social media where these ministers commented, there's now boycott Maldives hashtag that's trending on social media. This is now comparing Maldives and Lakshadweep. Amid the ongoing diplomatic controversy, Maldives High Commissioner Ibrahim was summoned. He left MEA within minutes, and also a message from India that this abuse fest cannot go on. Now, the Maldivian government, remember, looking at the backlash that had come, the government suspended 3 ministers who had posted, as many are calling it, derogatory remarks and does not befit the government of a country and of a friendly country. And these were targeted directly against Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the country, and Lakshadweep as well. But the Mali government, interestingly, officially has distanced itself from the controversy. There's no official comment that has come in. There is a massive backlash in Maldives as well. Maldivian members of parliament, rational voices within, have said that the government needs to issue a direct formal apology to Indians and not just a generic statement. The comments that were made by ministers, according to the opposition leaders in Maldives, according to the rational individuals, they've said these ministers made shameful, racist and intolerable remarks. Interestingly, amid all of this, where is the new Maldivian president, Dr. Mohamed Moizu? With the First Lady, they have departed to China on a state visit. There had been concerns earlier, remember, if he's tilting toward China, and will it prove problematic with regard to India-Maldives relationship. But it's important to mention here, there have been former members of parliament, incumbent members of parliament, former ministers in Maldives who have spoken against these 3 ministers and have said this is unacceptable. India and Indians have been very friendly to Maldives. And one such individual was the Maldivian member of parliament, Eva Abdulla. She's now joining me on this morning telecast. Eva, I appreciate you joining us with your views, and I've heard what you've said earlier as well. How do you look at the situation now with the celebrities, the actors who used to throng Maldives once for shoots, for schedules, and it has been a tourist hub, are now cancelling? They are saying will not visit Maldives, and it's a diplomatic escalation, Eva. Go ahead.
It's not, it's not just Virat Kohli, or it's not just the celebrities we're worried about. It's the sheer number of tourists who visit us, but not just the tourists. It's the doctors and the teachers and the great number of business people who've been trading with the Maldives and that the Maldives has been trading with for a number of years.
True.
You mentioned that officials in the government cannot go around throwing such remarks at close allies. India isn't just a close ally. India is our closest ally. India has been our most long-standing and closest ally for however long we've been trading with our partners. So government officials know they cannot go around throwing such remarks. And my party, the Democrats, and across the political spectrum and across our community, people have been asking the government to issue a formal apology for a formal remark on the ministers, on the deputy ministers' remarks. The suspension is not seen as being sufficient, is not seen as sufficient action from the government. And I keep saying this over the last 24 hours, the deputy minister's remarks are, of course, not representative of how Maldivians by and large see India or our Indian neighbors. We are close culturally, socially, economically, etc., etc. And this is not. A great number of Maldivians are very offended by these remarks and very deeply embarrassed by the shameful remarks.
I appreciate you saying that. I think it's also good that the Indians hear that at a larger level, the population there, the people of Maldives, many in the political corridors as well, do not accept what has been said and have said that these were shameful remarks. What I found very interesting, Eva, was how the president has reacted, which means basically there's been no reaction. Instead, he's jetted off to China with the First Lady, and there has been a whole concern that India has also felt if, there is too much of a tilt that's happening toward China. If China is going to dominate Maldives now, do you think the President Moizu should have at least given a assuring statement toward India?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. My personal opinion is that, yes, the President and the government should have given an official statement, should have commented officially. And this cannot be how India looks like in a government of Maldives. We simply cannot afford it. Not this government, not an the next government, not a previous government, a government of Maldives or the Maldives cannot afford to view India like this. And this cannot be, the Deputy Minister's words cannot be how India is seen by a government or viewed by a government of Maldives. And my opinion is that government of Maldives needs to change course. We cannot afford such schisms with India. And I'm worried that the Deputy Minister's comments is how, we need to address the root cause of these comments.
Very important.
And we need to address the root cause of these comments.
Would you like to elaborate on that? Because, I also want that. Why do you think the root cause needs to be understood well? That's a very interesting point you've made here, Eva.
The new government came in with a somewhat anti-India rhetoric. And the
Correct.
Deputy Minister's comments, the Deputy Minister's remarks are seen off the back of that anti-India movement that this government came in with. And I think that's what I'm saying. So that's what we need to address. And I think that's what the government of Maldives now needs to change course on.
Eva, I do have a final question before I let you go. Can you help us understand that, how there have been so many Indian tourists heading to Maldives. It was the big honeymoon destination for a lot of Indian young couples. And former tourism minister has said there were a lot of celebrities that have visited earlier as well, have schedules, and it was a cross-cultural connect also that was being made. How do you see that era and now?
It's Indian tourists that kept us afloat during COVID. We can't forget that. It's Indian tourists who flocked to the Maldives when nobody else would. And it's Indian tourists who kept us afloat during COVID and still do now. India is replacing all the other countries as the largest influx of tourists to the Maldives. But like I said, it's not just celebrities. It's the great mass of tourists who visit all our islands, who visit all our resorts now. We can't afford a boycott. And I want to say to the tourists, I want to say to the celebrities, I want to say to Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli and Salman Khan and Akshay Kumar, I want to apologize to all of them. And I want to apologize to all of India and say we're very ashamed, we're deeply sorry, and don't punish the Maldives because of shameful and poor, ill-thought-out remarks by one minister.
It takes a big heart and a lot of courage, I must say, to be putting out an apology. You needn't have to. It needs to be the government. It needs to be the sitting minister.
No, I think I need to. I represent a constituency. I've represented a constituency in this country for about 15 years. I represent the capital city, and I want to speak for all Maldivians I think, as former Deputy Speaker and as a Member of Parliament still, I think it's my responsibility to issue an apology.
And here's hoping that how you think and how you see India and Maldives relationship, that's how most of the citizens of Maldives feel as well.
I'm very certain. Across our communities, Maldivians are deeply ashamed by these comments, and this is not how we view India.
And I hope the politicians there, which I mean are in the government, to take a lesson.
Across the political spectrum. I think across the political spectrum, yes.
I appreciate you joining us, Eva Abdulla. She's a Member of Parliament. She's not mincing words. She's stating as it is and perhaps realizing what the consequences can be as well, and where the sitting ministers need to realize every word that they make can have consequences for the nation too as well. Eva Abdulla joining me for the latest on that. Appreciate you joining us on India Today.